Welcome to Therapist Confidential, a psychotherapy.net podcast. And now, here's your host, Travis Heath.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Therapist Confidential podcast. I'm your host, Travis Heath, and today we have Dr. LaNail Plummer with us. She has written a book that I just finished reading. It's called The Essential Guide for Counseling Black Women. It's now a book that I'm going to work into my graduate classes. You'll probably find out why as we begin talking today. But today we'll talk with Dr. Plummer about, unique challenges and also, opportunities faced by Black women. Examine, what the counseling profession can learn about, let's say, healing, culture, identity, community, and more. Dr. Plummer, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Travis. Thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. We were just talking. We have like promotions and graduations and all the things going on in life right now. It's that time of the season, but I'm glad we could make time to connect. Before we get rolling, would you mind telling the folks a little bit about you and your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Dr. LaNail Plummer, super excited to identify as a healer in the community. That's how I see myself. Physicians heal mostly from the neck down, and I get to heal from the neck up. And I appreciate that opportunity. In doing that work, I have some formal titles. I'm the CEO of Onyx Therapy Group, which is a mental health company with offices all around the nation. I am a department chair at Trinity Washington University, of which I love. So I get to teach my students. And I'm the author of the Essential Guide for Counseling Black Women. I am also a Black woman, and I am a mother. My oldest just graduated from college, and my son is going into his sophomore year. I'm a dog parent. I have a little Milo, who I absolutely love. I'm a veteran. I had the opportunity to serve our country for 8 years during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I'm a dependent of a veteran. So shout out to my dad, who served us for 26 years. And I'm a Cali girl at heart. I live on the East Coast, but I'm Cali in my heart all day, every day. Yeah.
I really appreciate the introduction. Definitely some connective points that the two of us share. If I could start, you used the word healer. I actually really appreciate that word. I've used the word healer and healing before in workshops and things that I've done. And there have been folks in the broader psychotherapeutic, counseling, psychiatric and psychological communities that don't like that word. Like when I use that word, it makes them uncomfortable, which is fine with me. I actually think it's pretty great when it does. But it just captured my attention that you used the word healer. I'm wondering if you can talk some about why you use that word and your sort of philosophies behind healing.
Yeah. I 100% believe in like ancestral messages and spirituality and things like that. And when I think about who my collective ancestors were, they didn't always have the formal titles, but they had special gifts and special powers that were used in the community for various reasons, for the community to operate and move efficiently and in a communal way. And so I believe that, and I know for sure that there are healers in that community, and they didn't necessarily have a title. They weren't calling themselves a therapist, and they weren't calling themselves, a doctor and things like that. But their gifts and their powers and their talents was that to be able to help people feel whole again. And my work is to help people feel whole. And especially in the Black and Brown communities, we come into this world through birth, ideally feeling good and feeling whole, but what our statistics tell us is that our parents, our mothers in particular, probably had a difficult process in birthing us. While the actual birth may have been easy, going through the medical system may have been challenging, not being seen as equal or not having their voices heard, and all of that imprints as well, right? And so we come into this world a little bit, maybe not as full as we could. That's one piece. The second piece is our society just doesn't treat us as we're whole. And so we have to find our connections and fragment and bring ourselves back together. And sometimes we need somebody to help us to do that. And the other piece, Travis, is, especially in our Black and Brown communities, like we walk in trauma, like it really sucks. It really truly sucks. And we need to be able to heal from that the best ways that we can, because we still have our own hopes and our dreams and our purpose on this earth. And so I heal what has been harmed, and I can't prevent all of the harm in our society. But when folks bring that to me, I do the best that I can to mend it with them, for them, through their perspective. Yeah. And I mean, Travis, like for real, mental health, like heal is in the word health. Like, come on, man. Like when people are like, I'm not a healer, I'm like, well, then maybe you're not a healer. Okay. Maybe you are an assistant to the healer. I'm not sure. But I am deep into this mental healing process. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, it's interesting to me because in some ways our fields act like healing's only been happening, or whatever we want to call it, has only been happening the last century or so, you know? And it's like, well, what do you think our ancestors were doing for all this time? I mean, you know, maybe the language wasn't the same. Maybe we weren't calling it trauma, right? But there's always been trauma, and there's always been people who are healers, right?
Yeah.
In one capacity or another. And so I think we have a lot to learn, you know, from our ancestors and the people who came before us about this process, not just what we learn in traditional textbooks in our formalized training.
Travis, I had a student say to me maybe about a year or so ago, you know, Doc, I don't know what's happening in the world. It seems like there's more people with mental health issues now than before. And I mean, I was like, you know, quite possibly the food that we're eating has different chemicals in it that, you know, interacts with the chemicals in our body in a different type of way. You know, our air isn't as pure as it used to be. Like, it, sure, of course, maybe all of that is contributing to it. But mental health issues have been around since the beginning of time. The challenge is that in certain communities, the folks that had mental health issues were not in public. You know, they were the aunts and the uncles and the cousins that were in the back room of the house, or they were, you know, shipped down to grandmom's house in a different part of a different state, or in different countries, in different areas. Like they've been around, you know, and in the most heinous ways, some of them were not allowed to live, you know, and they were seen as a defect in society. But there's always been people with mental health around, and there's always been people taking care of those people as well. So our work is not new. It just has a new title to it. So like I said, I get to identify as a healer. My title is a therapist. My title is an LPC. You know what I mean? My title is that, but the essence of who I am, the purpose and what I do is to heal. And our people have been doing that since the beginning of time. It's just tapping into that ancestral connection and doing the work through our professional training as well.
So your book, I think, highlights experiences that are often overlooked in the training of counselors, therapists, etc. In a general sense, what do you hope therapists understand differently after reading your book?
That different groups need to be treated with different types of care. You know, our training in mental health, and like I said, I'm a department chair. I've been deep in academia for, you know, almost 2 decades now. And our education allows for a multicultural course, right? And depending on when you take that course, it's either 10 weeks in the summer or it's 16 weeks in the fall or the spring. And that course is not centered on different cultures per se. A lot of it is on helping people identify their own culture and their own biases and their own countertransference can come in, but not the uniqueness of different populations. If it is, there's one class that's on how to work with Black people. There's one class on how to work with Latinos. And that's messed up because there's so many different cultures. Travis, don't get me started today, okay? But like, it's like,
can I get you started, please?
Hey, well, then if we're going to do it, we're going to do it, right? Like there's one course for a whole population of people that are spread throughout different diasporas with different cultures, with different ways that they use language, with different understandings of life and perspective. And they get 2 hours. Like we spend 2 hours. That's ridiculous. And then we say, you know what? You're ready to go out in the world and work with that group. And you are now culturally competent because you took this course. Like, what? And then what are you going to say to the client? You know, when I was in school, I learned that session, that's not it. That's not it. Like people live decades. By the time they come to us, even a 10-year-old, by the time they come to us, they have lived a decade, 10 years already. Malcolm Gladwell says you are an expert after you have done something for 10 years. A 10-year-old comes to us with their own life understanding, and we compare that to 2 hours of one class in one course for one semester. No, sir, that's not it. So I wrote the book because of my love for the community, but I also wrote it because of my love for our clinicians who have good hearts, who want to actually help. They may not call themselves healers, but they want to help, and they just don't have the skills and the training to do it. And so I wrote the book so that people could read it and see there are very specific and unique issues for Black women. And if we skate around those issues and we interact with them as if they are white men, because that's what our training was based on, right? Mm-hmm. Like if we interact with Black women as if they were white men, we're going to miss some major points and pieces. And if you mess up with a Black woman in particular, the data tells us that they will not go back to therapy. And not only will they not go back to therapy, they will not promote therapy when their children want to go or when their cousins and their family members and their friends want to go. So one major mistake can affect generations to come. Why do that? Why run that risk? I had to do my part in writing this book so that we don't run those risks, that we help and heal Black women who are finally ready to do this type of work, finally, because they are the one overcoming the taboos around people being in therapy, and that we are only in therapy with extreme mental health, DSM, ICD disorders, which is not the case. We come into therapy for various reasons. One of my line sisters reached out to me yesterday and said, "Hey, sis, I'm having workplace issues, workplace trauma. I think I need a therapist." I was so proud of her. Like, does that mean that she has, acute stress disorder? I don't know. Does it mean she has PTSD? I don't know. But what I do know is that her workplace is causing discomfort and disorder in her life. And for that, she needs healing.
Ooh, boy, so much. Yeah, I remember even, at this point, 20 plus years ago in graduate school, taking the multicultural course. And I remember thinking and of course, the majority of the cohort's white, this is just white women that make up the majority of the field. But it was basically a course like, hey, white people, here's how you work with people who aren't white. And then I was like, so what do I do during this course? Right.
Right.
And it was well-intentioned. And I hope it's gotten a lot better, everywhere in 20 years, of course. But I just remember thinking and I couldn't put words to it as a student, but something about this doesn't quite fit, right? This sort of multicultural idea where we're saying, hey, anyone who's not white, come heal in these Eurocentric models of healing, which is a nice gesture, but what kind of efficacy does that really offer? What are we missing when we do that? I mean, Mukungu Akinyele's ideas about cultural democracy in therapy have influenced a lot of my work. This idea of inviting people to speak on behalf of their own healing, right? Yeah, from their own communities. And boy, as I was reading your book, I was I just felt the spirit of that, Yeah. And I think it's so important because otherwise, as we know, it just defaults to the sort of white male perspective. And I don't think people do that intentionally, but that's the point. That's what's homeostatic is it defaults to that point. And if we don't have people that are doing the work you're doing or writing the books that you're writing, then it defaults to where it's always been. But of course, I hear this sort of criticism all the time. I don't know if it's a criticism. I think it's a criticism somewhere in there, but they say it nicely, Well, why do we need a book just for counseling Black women? I mean, we don't have a book that says counseling for white men. And I'm like, because all counseling's for white men.
All the books are for counseling for white
men. And so, it's those sort of criticisms get, they're tiring for me. Mm-hmm. Now, on that note.
And then with that, Travis, we have to make full theories to counter those theories. Women, feminist theory has to be created to say, hey, all these other theories were centered on men, and we need something for our space. Even when we talk about Freud, and I truly do appreciate Freud's work, and I had the chance to go to Vienna and be there, and it was amazing. But even when Freud worked with women, he generally diagnosed them with hysteria. And so whatever they were feeling, it was going to be a misdiagnosis. And he supposedly had more cultural competence than many of the other quote unquote founders because he traveled to the continent often. He was often in Africa, and he was a Jewish man living during, these wars, and he had to leave and escape. So he understood oppression in different kind of ways, but he had a lot of privilege too. You know what I mean? Like he had a lot of money and he had a lot of influence and he had friends with influence and enough money and influence, which is why his theory was popularized. Many theories were created around the world during that time, around all the continents. They were theories around mental health. He just happened to be positioned for his theory to get published and for that publication to be able to move around the world. And that's where we get sticky when it comes to research and books and things like that. Even as we're talking about my own book, just because something is written in the book, you have to understand what's happening politically for that book to get published also. And so I pray that my book is one that can stand the test of time, but these men were able to have their stuff published because they had influence versus us now, women and Black folks and brown folks, having to figure out the ways to do therapy for our community that may not be in the traditional models that were created in mental health.
Yeah, I appreciate that nuance too, because again, another criticism was like, oh, y'all just want to wipe out Freud and Carl Rogers or whomever from the history books. No, not at all. I mean, I actually find some of their ideas really compelling. And of course, as happens over time, some of the ideas become less compelling, or you realize that they were problematic in various ways. And all of that can be true. Like there's room for nuance in all of that. Now, another question I want to ask you about the book in particular, and I think the book addresses some of this, but folks might like to hear you talk about it some. What are some of the biggest blind spots that you still see among well-intentioned clinicians working with Black women?
Travis, the first answer that comes to mind is countertransference. Many well-intended people rely on their well-intentions, so they don't take time to consider their biases. Confronting our biases in a society that tries to aim for perfection makes people extremely uncomfortable. Because when you acknowledge the bias, you have to accept that you're not perfect and that your intention doesn't matter, right? Like the impact actually matters more. And because your client doesn't know your intention, that's not articulated, but they feel the impact. And so I think the biggest blind spot is not a technique. It's not a theoretical orientation. The biggest blind spot is folks who refuse to be reflective after session to understand where their countertransference and bias has risen and subsequently continue to work with that client without recognizing that they are infusing their biases into those sessions. I've had students in particular, we have to listen to their audio for like practicum, internship 1, internship 2. And so I'm listening to their audio tapes and wanting to figure out how they came up with certain questions. And so that's an assignment that they have to do. Like, how did you get to this question for this client? And when they sit back and actually deconstruct it, they realize it's because they themselves are curious about something, which means that they are using the client as a learning tool, as opposed to how it's supposed to be done, where the client is learning about themselves. Or they are afraid to ask something because it makes them look racist. Or they are afraid to ask something because it makes them look ignorant. And so their positioning is actually a hindrance in the session because they're not asking the questions that the client needs to be asked. And that is what countertransference is, when we center ourselves in the session instead of the client. And I think that's the biggest blind spot. The other thing, Travis, and some of the listeners, I don't know, y'all might email me after I say this, but Black women, because of the rise that has been happening economically and educationally with our disproportionate ability to succeed, have become a threat, which is why we have over 600,000 Black women without jobs right now. And so when a person feels intimidated by another person, they also position themselves inappropriately in that space. There's narratives that Black women are like these strong Black women, that where there's these angry Black women, and all of that, it creates this barrier for people to not want to penetrate the vulnerability. And because of that, they're not getting the due respect and the care that they need in the therapeutic spaces. Those are all stereotypes and narratives that Black women are fighting outside of therapy. So it really sucks when they have to fight that in therapy too, where they're supposed to be the most vulnerable. And yet they now have to contend with a well-intended but ignorant therapist. And ignorant, not in a disrespectful way, ignorant in the classic sense of they just lack information. So my book is anti-ignorant. It is to teach and to give information so that one can feel empowered. But even Travis, as you saw and read the book, you saw that at the end of each chapter, there were tables for the therapist to be introspective. You've now read this chapter. What bias did you have? What do you need to address? Where have you possibly made a mistake? How can you correct that with future clients? Those are real, true questions that I want every clinician to ask themselves, whether they're white or Black or Latino or Asian or Indigenous, however they identify. When you are working with this population, what bias did you have? Let's deconstruct that so that you don't carry that over to the next Black woman who needs you.
Yeah, and the journaling prompts I found interesting at the end of chapters. Actually, one of my favorite parts was the excerpts from the client stories. I mean, all of that came together in really cool ways for folks that are interested in the book. Yeah, I think that's important because it does feel interactive. It doesn't feel like I'm just reading, right? Which can be great, by the way, to just read and take in information, but it does feel interactive for folks that might be interested in picking it up. Okay, you often write about resilience. I have a tricky relationship with resilience.
So do I, Travis. Okay, tell me about it.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to lay down on the couch now. Yeah, I mean, because I think resilience is a thing and it's amazing. And I worry that too often people are being asked or even mandated to resilience their way out of things that they shouldn't have to be resiliencing their way out of, So like on one hand, I want to honor people's resilience because I think it is important. And I think all of us need that in our lives. Like we won't, and maybe some of us need it more than others, but that's the problem is like systemically when certain people are asked over and over again to call on more resilience, while I want to recognize it, I also want to dismantle that, which is mandating that more and more resilience of the individual be found instead of, interrogating those systems that are putting the individual in that position. So I am interested in your interest in resilience, and I'd love to hear you talk about that. But also, is there a point that you see at which resilience becomes too costly for a person or a burden that really shouldn't be theirs to carry?
Yeah, all of that, Travis, all of it. Similarly, my relationship with resilience is I find the usefulness of it and despise it at the same time. A person is only asked to be resilient because they have to keep facing obstacles. Some of those obstacles need to be, like you said, dismantled. I don't have to be the strong Black woman if I don't have to be resilient all the daggone time. Like, why do you keep putting this obstacle in front of me? And now I have to overcome this obstacle. And that's what creates my resilience. But I could produce so much more if I didn't have to keep facing this obstacle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is why when I read all these books about, because again, I'm a CEO of a company. And when I read all these books about CEOs and millionaires and success in the United States or in the Western world, it's often talking about how innovators are only able to innovate because they have a significant amount of time to rest. Now, part of that is true, but some of our ancestors were innovating out of need, right? But to innovate in terms of like technology and some ways that we're going right now is because they are getting rest. And it makes sense from a neurological perspective. If your limbic system is always activated, which is subsequently activating your amygdala and your hippocampus, then of course, you're not going to get as much activity in your prefrontal the way that you want to, right? So rest is important. But then we have this economic environment of which, if you don't have generational wealth, you have to overwork in order to have some standard form of living, which means you don't get to rest. So it's kind of like, do I aim for this success or do I rest? And that's a hard position to put people in. When you put people in those positions, though, and they choose to keep pushing forward, then they have to be resilient. They have to be strong, because you're asking them to fight what their body is naturally asking them to resist. You're asking them to fight what society has created as different obstacles. So it's beautiful when you see these Black women succeeding, but that's why it becomes a threat, because they are going in opposition of what everything else has created around them. And that's why it becomes intimidating for folks to work with Black women, because of the resilience, because of the strength, because of the perseverance. But the therapeutic spaces where they're supposed to be able to put all of that down. They're not supposed to have to be resilient in therapy. They're not supposed to have to be strong in therapy. They're not supposed to have to be defensive in therapy. That's not supposed to be the place. And yet they still find themselves in that space. So my relationship with resilience is one that I appreciate and also one that I despise. I would love for Black women to just be able to be. Just be. Not have to fight all the daggone time, not have to defend themselves, not have to, correct mischaracterizations, not have to argue with their family because they want to create new legacies for themselves and new traditions. Why do Black women have to argue when they want to marry a white man? You know what I mean? Let her just marry who she want to marry. Why is it an affront to you? She's not in your life, in your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let her be. If she wants to go and live in Montreal, just let her live. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does everything have to be a fight? And that's what I want therapists to know too. Like, a Black woman is strong and she's resilient, but she's also vulnerable and she's also fragile and she's also precious, and she needs to be treated with care.
Something I'm appreciating as I'm listening to you speak is the way that you can take the language of psychotherapy, the language of neuroscience, the ancestral language, and you can take these things and kind of connect them, which I'm enjoying listening to, because I think sometimes, and I understand why, but I think sometimes we get stuck in one way of thinking about things or describing things. And I'm appreciating the way you're able to kind of weave together these multiple perspectives and the nuance that lies in that. Now, you've alluded to this a little bit, but I want to lean in a little more. Many Black women carry enormous responsibilities. And some of that is amazing because it's ambition, and ambition can feed the soul. Ambition can help make life worth living. And ambition at some point, and I don't know where this point is for different folks, right? But ambition at some point can cross over into feeling like an unhealthy burden on someone's life. And I'm wondering, in your work, in particular with Black women, how you help them navigate this line between, ambition and, burden.
I think the first element is for, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I appreciate Freud. And my other theoretical orientation, like classically published theoretical orientation that I appreciate, is cognitive. So I do weave in culture into all of my sessions, but I also use some of the classic theoretical orientations as a base. So with that, as I think about your question, I often ask my clients to help me understand their core beliefs around ambition. What did they believe ambition meant for them? What did they believe that their life purpose was? What did they believe was going to be the way for them to get there? Because as they track that for me over sessions, I'm also able to see when it moved from a healthy belief to a distortion. Because like you mentioned, there is usually a time period and a moment. If we were to bring in behavioral theory into this as well, it is likely that many Black women have been positively reinforced for their ambition. They get the promotions at work, They get the awards in school. They sit in front of the class. Their mama and aunties are like, spell that word for me, baby. I know you got that word. You know what I'm saying? Their cousins and uncles call them when there's a problem in the family and they need that smart thinking person. So they've been reinforced in being ambitious. They've been reinforced in being, quick on their feet or to be driven. And it usually is a moment of which they are about to face burnout, and they push through that moment as a matter of resilience. And that's when it flips, when they forget that they can say no. And that is tricky for Black women because we are double minorities. We face racism and we face patriarchy. And so saying no for some Black women have actually led to consequences. And so they're afraid to say no, which means that they stop having power. They stop feeling empowered. And then they become, for lack of better words or not, they become enslaved to their ambition. And they no longer need somebody to enslave them because they've enslaved themselves. And so going back through their core beliefs, tracking where those reinforcements happen, helping them to understand that that has all been positive and worked for them, and now it no longer works, right? So it is a skill that has been extremely helpful to get them where they are today, and it's no longer necessary. It's kind of like, I think in the book, I used an analogy of riding a bike and driving a car, right? Like you get the skill of riding the bike, but when you get to an opportunity to drive a car, if you try to use the same skills that you have for riding that bike, while you get in that car, you're going to get in a car accident. You can't use 2 feet when you're driving, but you need 2 feet to ride a bike. So it's acknowledging that there are all the skills that we've learned up until this moment have been helpful for us. All the beliefs we've learned up until this moment have been helpful for us. And now we need a new set of beliefs. So we stop it and then we create something new. I guess the last analogy, if I could, Travis, I tell my clients, again, I'm from California, so I use the word freeway. All my East Coast people are like, you mean highway? I don't need no highway. I mean a freeway. I'm getting on the freeway. Okay. Interstate freeway. I'm getting on the freeway. Therapy to me is like being on the freeway and you've gotten adjusted. You're on the freeway and this is the exit that you take to go home, right? But you've moved. So if you keep taking that exit, you're going to keep going to the wrong place. You're going to go to a place that you don't need to be anymore. So therapy is to help you close that exit and create a new exit, or to stop using that exit and to start using a new exit. So therapy is to help you direct you to where you're supposed to be now, based off of where you say you're supposed to be, not where I say you're supposed to be, where you say you're supposed to be. My job is to help you close the exit and create a new one.
Something I've heard you say a number of times already in this conversation, you've used this word specifically, but also it's been alluded to, political or politics, which is something that in my formalized training, it was never like specifically said, but it was almost always implied that there was some sort of separation between politics and therapy, which I suppose some people can hold that separation. They're positioned in a way where they can hold that separation, or they're positioned in a way where they can feel as though they're neutral, although I would argue they're not neutral.
They're not.
Because even to be neutral is to assume a position, right? Like if there are competing ideas and I say I'm going to be neutral, I've just assumed a position, right? So I don't even know that neutrality is possible, but some people can position themselves where they will appear neutral. And then others of us maybe really don't have that luxury. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering if you could speak some to, and when we say politics, I don't mean like party politics, like who did you vote for per se, right? But I'm wondering if you could talk some about the political that exists in your work.
It's so funny. So the summer semester just started for us, and my students on all my evaluations are always like, I love the way that Dr. Plummer weaves in politics into mental health, because it is part of my teaching, right? So this semester I'm teaching a career course, and we just had the first class. And I'm like, why do you think that you have to learn about careers? You know what I mean? Like, why do you think you need to learn career counseling? You plan to do this kind of work with clients, X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, I don't know. Maybe the career is connected to identity. Maybe it's connected to this. Maybe it's connected to that. And I was like, absolutely. So in short, because remember, these classes are like 2.5 hours, we get to the point where they realize that politics play a role in a person's career choice. If I grew up in a neighborhood where people told me that my career options were to be an attorney, a physician, a firefighter, or a police officer, I think I have to choose from one of those. Nobody has told me that I can be a therapist, or that I can be an author, or that I could be a professor, or that I could be whatever, an artist, that I could make ceramics. Like, nobody's told me I could make these things. I could do these things and be reinforced. So I go into these places thinking that these are my options. All right, here we go, Travis. If my neighborhood doesn't have a library, I don't even have access to know that there's more careers than the 4 that they've given me. Library placements are politically placed as well, right? Which is why certain neighborhoods have certain libraries and other neighborhoods don't. And even when you go into that neighborhood library, the way that it looks is also a reflection of the politics in that area. If there are unhoused people living there, it is because there are unhoused people in that neighborhood, and this is the safest place and the warmest place or coolest place for them to be. That is a reflection of the neighborhood politics and the neighborhood culture. If I go into a different library and it has all these stairs and these airways and these windows, and I'm able to read a book and then look outside at possibility, then that is also a reflection of politics, right? And all of this kind of comes back to, do I choose one of these 4 careers, or do I recognize that there are plenty other careers that are out there? And how did I get exposure and access to that? Politics play, not party politics, but politics in general. Where you live, what your neighborhood looks like. Does it have, institutional racism built into it? Are there potholes on your streets? That's all part of politics, right? Because how is the community money being spent? Is it spent to clear the roads so that you can have a peaceful drive? Or are you weaving in and always on defense? Like, all of that is political. And all of that plays a role in your mental health, because if you had to weave in and out of potholes to get to work, when you get to work, you're now tense. And so when the problem is presented to you at work, you're irritable about it, as opposed to thinking of how to solve it positively, which then affects your team members, which affects your evaluation, which affects your mental health, which affects how you see yourself. Like, all of it is all connected and interwoven. That's all politics. So when a person comes into therapy and they need to talk about something, as a therapist, we have to ask those uncomfortable questions. What is your neighborhood makeup, and how does that make you feel? What is your access to this information, and how does that make you feel? What are some things that we can do, and how does that empower you, right? All of our code of ethics require us to be advocates as therapists. And advocates also need to be able to vote. And now I'm talking about party politics. I don't care who you vote for, but you need to vote, because your clients need you to vote, right? Your clients need to be in safe environments. Your clients need to be in environments where they feel seen and heard and appreciated. And we can use our power and our privilege to be able to do that. So in my mind, I don't go into class talking about party politics. I could, because my university president, she's real cool with all of that. But that's not what I do, right? Because that's not my approach. But I do want my students and my supervisees and my clinicians in Onyx to see how this entire structure influences a person's mental health. That this major depressive disorder didn't just come from a chemical imbalance. It came from the food that they ate. Why is our food different in the United States versus in Europe? That's political. It came from the medication they had access to. Why do we have access to certain information and other countries don't have access to that? It comes from, how we are able to be outside. Are certain communities safe to be outside? Are certain Travis, you got me going, man. You got me going. Okay, I'm gonna stop, Travis. But you see what I'm saying? Like, all of this is connected to each other, So when my client comes and sits in front of me, especially as a Black woman, how disrespectful would I be to tell her that politics don't have a role in how she's feeling in her world?
Oh, you can keep going. I'm just taking notes. One thing you talk about as well that I think maybe deserves more conversation in general, not just here between you and I, but in general in our field, is the idea of joy, you know, and that, maybe joy deserves a more central place in conversations about mental health. I'm wondering if you could talk some about how you make sense of joy in the world and the people you work with.
Yeah, joy is one of those emotions that it's more of an emotional state as opposed to a typical feeling. The difference between an emotion has a physiological element to it, which is a chemical spark in the body. It's like a ignition, right? And the feeling in a emotion lasts for 6 seconds. And a feeling is what happens in the amygdala, and that lasts about 90 seconds. So emotion and feeling together lasts about 96 seconds. And yet people make lifelong decisions off of 96 seconds. It's wild, right? And so what happens is why the emotion and the feeling keep coming around is because the thought keeps coming, right? The emotion and the feeling itself attaches to a thought that circulates into the prefrontal cortex, and then it circulates back to the amygdala, right? And so that's why when people are like, no, I was angry for 3 days. And I was like, nah, Slim, you were thinking about the issue for 3 days. And that's how you became angry for 3 days. Like your body didn't keep you in a state of anger for 3 days. Your thought kept you. And so my work as a therapist is to intervene on the thought so that you don't continue to have the feeling. All right. So joy is one of those emotional states that can stay longer than 96 seconds. But joy is also environmental. So you can create an environment that creates joy for you, specifically from a sensory experience. So when I'm helping my clients create joyful environments, I'm asking them to check in on their 5 senses. And Travis, we remember our 5 senses from elementary school, right? Like hear, taste, touch, feel, and smell. So what in your environment can you control of which all 5 senses are activated and relaxes your nervous system? Once you do that, then you create time in your schedule to be in that space as much as you can, because that fills up your cup so that when you go out into the world, you're not operating from a half-filled cup or an empty cup, because that'll deplete you quickly. So first you create an environment by creating your self-awareness. This is what I need. This is what I put in my environment. Now I monitor my time so that I am able to spend as much time in that environment, and then I could go out into the world. Once you've been able to do that in one environment, you can subsequently replicate it in other environments. And then you have more opportunities to experience more joy. The challenge, Travis, is that people often think that their emotions are externally driven. This person made me feel angry. This person made me feel joyful. This person made me feel confused. And that is outside of one's individual power. That is what happens in the environment of which you can't control, but you can control yourself within that space. Remember, the emotion and the feeling only lasts 96 seconds. So if you feel uncomfortable in a space, you can intervene that by saying, what made me feel uncomfortable and how do I change that for myself? The same goes in positive ways for joy. This made me feel joy. How do I replicate that and continue with that process? I'm not sure if that fully answered the question, but in a very technical kind of way, we cannot stop emotions from coming, but we can manage them when they come. And we can create environments of which we have more of that. Another simple way of that is, for the most part, people marry people that they love because they enjoy the feeling of love and they want to experience it more. So they marry the person who they think has that influence. The same for joy. Go to the places, create the places that you have joy, live in the spaces that you have joy, replicate what joy looks like for you in different environments, in different spaces. Maybe all 5 senses are not present outside of your home, but 3 or 4 of them are. and you keep living in that space. And that will be your combat to all the other complicated and challenging emotions. They're not bad emotions. All emotions have function, but that is how we continue to live in joy. And I want people to feel empowered to create environments of joy.
Oh, I appreciate that answer. Actually, the level of detail I found really engaging. I'm wondering what Black women have taught you about healing and counseling over the years that maybe surprised you, or maybe you're a Black woman, but there's something about being engaged in the process of counseling, I find, where we often learn things from the people that we're in conversation with. And I'm wondering what you've learned from Black women over the years.
Oh, I'm inspired. What have I've learned? I don't know if I could separate it like that, Travis. Like I mentioned, I'm a healer. This is my purpose, and it also is the work that I do. And so there is a form of not reciprocity, because it's not that balanced, but I'm inspired by Black women. I'm inspired when a woman says she's ready to heal. I'm inspired when a woman has her aha moments and she's like, oh, shoot, that's right. Like, I got that. I'm inspired when a woman says no, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm inspired. I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm grateful. I don't know if I could say learning like that, because I don't know if I could break it down that way, but I do know what I experience when I'm in spaces with Black women, and especially Black women who want to heal, and they want to heal for themselves, and watching them go through that process is amazing. And they want to heal for the next generation. They want their children to watch them heal. One more thing. I know we're going to go in a second. I have a client, and she's going through a horrible divorce. Like, it is just horrible. And so, Travis, when she came in with me, she was like, my presenting issue is this dude that I was married to, and I need to talk about this divorce. Travis, I did not direct the conversations towards the divorce for 4 months. So those first 3 sessions, she was pissed. She was like, I want to talk about this divorce. This time you're not letting me talk about this divorce. At one point, she was like, I'm going to get a new therapist. And I was like, okay, all right, I understand. I knew she wasn't, Travis. I knew she wasn't. She was upset. By the time we got to talking about the divorce, she had transformed in such a beautiful way that she could talk about this divorce without anger and animosity. But she had been so exposed in the world. He had been gaslighting her and manipulating her. And she just wanted somebody to say that all of that was wrong, but she had not been able to say it to herself. So the work meant that I needed to help her reconnect with who she was as a young child, when she was coloring and playing Barbie dolls, right? Like, when she felt the most peaceful in herself, like, how do I get you back there? And I did my 5 senses exercise. I do it with all of my clients. So that by the time we got to talking about the divorce, she was like, it's all right. I'm going to be able to make it through this. And you know what was beautiful about it, Travis? Her children have changed because she has changed. She is more relaxed. So her children are more relaxed. Her children are able to be in relationship. One of her children broke up with their partner because they realized that that they had been mirroring their parents' relationship. And because they were mirroring their parents' relationship, when the mom started to change, the child started to see the toxicity that was in their own relationship. My God, Travis, in 4 months, she was able to make certain changes in her life that affected her children and the decisions that they made. And this will carry on for generations to come. That's what therapy is for me. And to watch a Black woman go on that journey is humbling.
What a beautiful story for us to end this particular conversation on. If people are interested in your work, obviously there's the book, The Essential Guide for Counseling Black Women. Any other place people might look if they're wanting to connect with you or see the work you're doing?
Yeah. Our website is onyxtherapygroup.com. So you can always go there and see the updates, which new articles I have that have come out. I usually have articles in mass commercial media come out about twice a month. I'm usually in some sort of counseling magazine like Counseling Today or Psychology Today. I have a monthly blog with Counseling Today, so feel free to check that out. You can put in my name, LaNail Plummer, Counseling Today in the blog. And I'm all over Instagram. I love my life, Travis. I be outside. So I'm always talking about mental health and living life and having a good, purposeful life. So you'll find me on Instagram as well at Mahogany Sunshine.
Dr. LaNail Plummer, it's been a privilege to have you on, and let this not be our last conversation.
Please not. When am I coming back, Travis? I'm not going to hold you to the date right now, but please have me back.
Yeah, well, I've written down about 20 other questions, so it's going to be mandatory that you come back. And I hope everything goes well with the graduations and with life.
Same for you. Same for you. I appreciate you.
Right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.